In this episode, we will show 10 fantastic premieres of 2025-2026, from dark dystopias to space operas. Here are both already released premieres with real ratings and future hits with high expectations from critics. This is Popcorn Files. Hit like, subscribe, and let's go.
Stephen King's dystopia returns, but this time much closer to the book. It's not a superhero arena, but a dirty, dangerous road movie about a father willing to do anything for his daughter. The chase doesn't take place on studio sets, but in real locations, streets, bridges, squares, with a sense of scale and a living city. The lead actor, Glenn Powell, promises physically reckless action to the limit. There will be falls, explosions, and stunts that are painful to watch. Director Edgar Wright shoots the story from the perspective of the pursued. Cameras everywhere, dummy calls, false trails, frantic cuts, tense sound design. The hunt itself is presented like a reality competition. Points, commentators, sponsors, leaderboards, bets, hashtags. Ordinary people become hunters for ratings and hype. It's a satire on the media hunger and the entertainment industry. Ratings, expectations, final reviews are still ahead. After CinemaCon and the trailer, the press expects a darker and more book-accurate version. The official release is postponed to November 15th, 2025.
100 boys march. Whoever slows down 3 times gets shot. The winner receives any prize. Lawrence, also the director of the Hunger Games franchise, sets the dystopia not in a glossy or detached way, but so that the viewer feels through the screen. The heat, fatigue, fear. The cast of young talents such as Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, is already praised for their flawless performances, and critics and early viewers note that these are actors of a new generation who act convincingly and naturally. The film is not yet in theaters, but the press calls it one of the most important releases of the fall and brutal emotional. The release on September 12, 2025 is confirmed.
A space horror from Flying Lotus. The main heroine in space faces amnesia and a mysterious disaster when she wakes up on the station and the crew is dead. The plot relies on familiar genre cliches: a lone survivor, an empty station, the mystery of the crew's death, but the visuals are bright, psychedelic, with an unusual color palette and strange effects, closer to art house. The soundtrack and sound design are built to physically press on the viewer, creating a sense of anxiety as if the station is alive. Meaning, this is a case where the film is valuable not so much for the story, but for the atmosphere, style, and visual sound experience. Ratings: RT 70% critics, 54% audience. The publication notes the phantasmagoric nature and powerful sound.
The final arc of Paul Atreides is an adaptation of Frank Herbert's novel, Dune Messiah. Denis Villeneuve's new film will continue the story after the events of Dune Part 2, and will close the protagonist's path as it was envisioned in the books. The plot takes the viewer several years forward. Paul is now emperor, but power comes at a brutal price. The Holy War has left millions of victims, and the Empire is immersed in intrigue. House conflicts, conspiracies, religious and political manipulations become the new reality. Villeneuve promises to maintain IMAX scale and visual grandeur, while making the story different in taste, less epic in spirit than the second part, and more intimate, philosophical, and tragic. It will be a delicate balance between large-scale spectacle and a drama about power, its cost and consequences. Ratings and expectations are high. Critics expect a bitterer chapter with emphasis on consequences and the inevitability of fate. The release date has already been confirmed by the studio, December 17th, 2027.
Waking up alone on a ship
and realizing that you are humanity's last hope. Lord and Miller bring their signature mix of heart, science, and humor into space. And at Comic-Con, they showed footage of the hero's first encounter with an alien, the audience left with smiles from ear to ear. After HL, the hype is high. Author Andy Weir called what he saw really very good. The release date is March 20th, 2026.
That rare case when a fan cult pushes the studios. Because the sequel didn't appear due to studio plans, but because fans had been demanding a continuation for years, and the actors, along with the director, actively insisted on it. Keanu Reeves and Francis Lawrence, the director of the first part, fought for the sequel for many years and are now promoting it as an R-rated dark urban fantasy, yet still closer to the comic. We can expect smoke, cynicism, and magic in the alleys of Los Angeles. Rumor has it that the image of the upcoming film is a noir city atmosphere, a sarcastic main character tired of life but still fighting demons. The script is in progress, and the team publicly emphasizes the R rating and serious tone. Critics' interest remains steady.
Riddick returns to his home planet, Furya. After decades of waiting, the Riddick franchise gets a continuation, and this return promises to be as dark as possible. The creators emphasize the film will be darker, harsher, and more intimate, as this is what the series has always been known for. Pitch Black focused on darkness and fear. Chronicles of Riddick expanded the universe, and Riddick 2013 returned to the one-on-one survival format. The fourth installment continues the tradition. Shadows again, confined spaces again, in the feeling that light is a luxury you have to fight for. The official start of filming is confirmed. Production began on August 26, 2024. Filming is taking place in Europe, and it is already known that the film will focus on practical atmosphere, lots of night hunts, and survival in conditions where the planet itself becomes the enemy. The exact release date is not yet known, but the start of filming is a signal that news is on the way. Producers and Vin Diesel hint that this is where we will finally truly see Furya, Riddick's home world, which until now existed only in legends. The heroes of the beloved series are hitting the big screen. After 3 successful seasons on Disney+, the series The Mandalorian received a continuation in the form of a feature-length film. Now, Mando and Grogu are officially in theaters. Viewers can expect to meet the already beloved characters, bounty hunter Din Djarin, Mando, and little Grogu, aka Baby Yoda. While their story in the series was intimate and episodic, the film promises a completely different scale. More ships, more planets, more battles. The creators emphasize that despite all this, the same warm feeling of a space fairy tale that made fans love the series will remain. The film will expand the universe beyond the small screen, add epic space battles and new locations, while preserving the heartfelt atmosphere of Mando and Grogu's journey. Production is taking place in California with the original team led by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Grogu is once again created using practical effects and animatronics, not exclusively CGI, giving the story that same liveliness. The release date is already set, May 22, 2026. Lucasfilm confirmed the transition of The Mandalorian from streaming to theaters back in 2024, and the project has now officially become part of the larger Star Wars cinematic universe. Critics and fans anticipate that the film will be more than just a spin-off, but an important step in the development of the Star Wars galaxy, with familiar heroes and a new level of visual scale.
Which of these films are you looking forward to so much that you already want to buy tickets? Write in the comments, and we'll return to these releases with full reviews and analyze where the hype really was and where the movie delivered.
This was Popcorn Files. See you in the future.